Kicking things off with the Express, and a mob of teenagers robbed JD Sports on Oxford Street. I believe the bookshop next door was left untouched, Paul.
That would be my guess too. Home Secretary Suella Braverman has ordered a full review of chaotic incidences in London's Oxford Street as she blasted the American-style lawlessness. And if anyone knows anything about American-style lawlessness, it's me, having to work with Lewis Shaver. What? For those who don't know, essentially, you must have been on Mars if you don't know, but there were sort of gangs of yous that had been organised using social media platforms such as Snapchat and TikTok.
We've got footage of it here, so you can see them all mobbing. So they all coordinated a sort of mob attack on JD Sports.
This is really interesting because I actually read stories yesterday denying that this was happening.
Oh, really?
So the fact that
it looks like it's happening.
Well, I don't know, Leo. I mean, it could have all been AI generated. But however, one thing I would say is the Express has taken the angle that this is TikTok's fault, essentially. I think that throws the baby out with the bathwater. So what? I mean, back in the 80s, people were able to organise illegal raves without too much trouble.
This is like blaming the IRA, the phone for the IRA's phone call to the pub saying there's going to be a bomb in it. I mean, that's ridiculous, Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. What's the next step? To blame smoke signals or something? I mean, it's bad. It's bad kids. We're older, so we hate kids. Kids are horrible. But the thing is, they did a mob on JD Sports, but there's Microsoft is right there with really expensive stuff, and there's Apple also down the block, and that's the best that they could do. The fact is, her name is Braverman.
Right, we had this conversation before.
Oh, did you check it out?
And I said Braverman. You said
Braverman.
So
we don't have time for your tomato nonsense.
Let's call the whole thing off.
But yeah, I mean, the JD Sports is pretty expensive. I mean,
is it?
Yeah, it's a step above your Sports Direct. I think it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I can understand these kids. They're obviously sold. They're pumped. The adverts are aimed at them, and then they can't afford the stuff. Not that I'm excusing them.
Well, I think that there's an important part of this story that doesn't get mentioned enough, and it's that these kids know that they can get away with it.
Yeah.
Right? If you thought, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, you can go and take a £130 pair of trainers and nobody's really going to do too much about it, you might be tempted to do so.
And we've seen this increasing with TikTok stars like Mizzy, who basically breaks the law, intimidates people, breaks into houses, and seems to get away with it pretty much scot-free. He gets picked up by the police and then he's out doing it the next day. It's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on.